dolls have always been a source of both wonder and unease. While they're designed to bring joy to children, some seem to conceal far darker secrets than we dare to imagine. Tonight, I'll share with you 3 chilling stories about dolls that are far from innocent. From an antique with sinister intentions, to a cursed heirloom that should have remained buried, and a third tale that will haunt your thoughts, these stories will make you question every doll you've ever encountered. Dim the lights, settle in, and prepare for the unsettling truths behind these seemingly harmless toys. Emily loved antiquing, often finding unique pieces to decorate her apartment. On a rainy Saturday afternoon, she stumbled upon a small, hidden shop she'd never noticed before. Inside, she found a delicate porcelain doll sitting alone on a dusty shelf. Its eyes were a piercing blue, and its lips curled into a faint, unsettling smile. The shopkeeper eagerly sold it to her, almost too quickly, as if he was relieved to get rid of it. "This one's special," he said cryptically as she left. Back at her apartment, Emily placed the doll on a shelf in her living room. That night, she began hearing faint whispers. She tried to brush it off as her neighbors, but the voices were too close. By the second night, things escalated. Her lights flickered, and objects in her apartment seemed to move on their own. She woke up to find the doll no longer on the shelf but sitting on her coffee table, its head tilted toward her bedroom door. Emily decided to return the doll to the shop, but when she arrived, the building was abandoned and boarded up. Confused and frightened, she threw the doll in a nearby dumpster. That night, she woke up to a loud crash. The doll was back, sitting on her dresser, its glass eyes now cracked. Written on her bathroom mirror in smeared lipstick were the words, "You can't get rid of me." Emily left the apartment that night and never returned. Weeks later, the landlord discovered her belongings untouched, except for the doll, which sat smiling on the living room shelf. Ethan inherited an old farmhouse from his grandmother, a place he hadn't visited since childhood. While cleaning out the attic, he discovered a wooden chest filled with old family relics. Among them was a hand-sewn rag doll with button eyes and a stitched smile. Ethan's grandmother had always warned him never to touch the doll, calling it the family's secret burden. But now, as an adult, he dismissed the warning as superstition. Amused, he placed the doll on the fireplace mantel as a quirky decoration. That night, he heard faint footsteps above him. He lived alone, so the sound immediately set him on edge. Grabbing a flashlight, he ascended the creaky attic stairs. The room was empty, but the chest was open, its contents strewn about. Over the next few nights, Ethan's dreams grew darker. He saw the doll standing at the foot of his bed, its button eyes glowing faintly, whispering in a raspy voice, "You can't leave me here." Each morning, the doll had moved. Once, it was sitting in the kitchen. Another time, it was at the base of the stairs. One night, Ethan woke to find the doll perched on his chest, its stitched smile inches from his face. Panicked, he flung it across the room and decided it was time to destroy it. He took the doll to the backyard and lit a bonfire. The flames licked at its fabric, and he swore he heard a high-pitched scream as it burned. Relieved, Ethan returned to the house, but the silence didn't last. The next morning, He found the doll sitting on the mantel again, untouched and pristine. This time, its stitched smile was wider, and its button eyes seemed to follow him wherever he went. Ethan left the farmhouse that day and never returned. Locals say the house still stands, and at night, faint laughter can be heard coming from the attic. No one dares go near the chest, but everyone knows the doll is waiting for someone new. Kara was a college sophomore moving into a shared apartment. Her roommate, Mia, had a peculiar hobby, collecting vintage dolls. The shelves of their small living room were filled with porcelain faces, each staring blankly into the space. One doll stood out, a red-haired one in a pristine white dress. Unlike the others, it had a unique placement, sitting on a chair by the window, as if it were keeping watch. Kara jokingly called it the Sentinel. At first, it was easy to ignore the eerie collection. But over time, Kara noticed small things out of place. Her coffee mug, once left on the kitchen counter, was found on the living room table, next to the red-haired doll. Lights flickered when Kara passed by the doll's chair, and the air around it always felt colder. One evening, Mia left for the weekend, and Kara was alone. While watching TV, she swore the doll's head had shifted slightly, turning toward her. Laughing nervously, she got up and adjusted the doll to face the window again. The following night, Kara woke to the sound of faint tapping. She checked the windows, locked. The tapping grew louder, coming from the living room. Peering around the corner, her breath caught. The doll was no longer in the chair. It was standing by the hallway, its glassy eyes reflecting the dim light. Terrified, Kara called Mia, but her phone went straight to voicemail. Gathering her courage, she placed the doll back in its chair and locked herself in her bedroom. As she lay in bed, the tapping began again, this time on her bedroom door. The next morning, Mia returned to find Kara packing her things. When Mia asked why she was leaving, Kara gestured toward the doll. Mia paled and whispered, "I didn't bring that one with me. I thought you put it there." The doll remained in the apartment, its chair perpetually facing the hallway, waiting for its next roommate.